Champions. G'day, champions. How you going? What's happening? Talking about booze already. Margaritas. Oh, my mustache needs a trim. How are we all? What's going on? Let's get a temperature check. Where's everyone at? How hot is it? Or cold? Mark, Lou, Victor, Billy. I'm going to call you Billy. Where's he going, legend? Richard? Dustin, you made it. Gooden. What's happening, brother? Pablo. Liz. How you going? Daniel. All the crews here. Just a few more days, yeah. So, dry July is almost over. So what do we got today? And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days to go. And the 1st of August, I'll have a beer that Arvo, and it just happens to be a Friday. Perfect. Glenn, how you going? 95F. 85% humidity. Oh, at that temperature, 85 is going to sting. I heard on the news that in the US, some of the I don't know, the not customs, whatever you call it, when you get scanned as you get off the plane, they're saying that people's perspiration is setting off some kind of detector. I don't know if it's like explosives or something, but yeah, you're getting pretty sweaty over there. Gross. How's the audio? Any clipping before I carry on? Testing. Yo. Just change my audio 1 second. And it's not working for some reason. Oh, that'll be why. Got to unmute myself, huh? That's sounding alright. Gave myself a little bit of a bass boost, just because a bass and a treble boost, because this mic is a little bit dark, because it's getting muffled by my beard probably. So we've got a lot to get through to today. We'll start with the smallest one first, little champ. G'day, champ. So this one got brought in with reports of possible speaker or baffle issues. So it's got some resonance or distortion happening, which is getting altered by putting a little pressure on the speaker during operation. So we will fire it up and have a listen, but first we'll just pop the back cover off and see what's going on. Oh, this one's US power, so have I got an adapter? Ooh, I might have snooked myself here. No, here's one. Oh no, it goes the other way. Oh, don't tell me I can't test it. I haven't got a step down at the moment. I use the Variac with a adapter, but I don't think I've got an adapter. Damn it. We might just have to go visual only on this one at the moment. That's annoying. I've got to get a decent step down. There's just so many crappy ones out there. We can pump some signal into the speaker anyway and just determine if it's the actual speaker or something else. Beard boost, yeah. It was about 93 till a thunderstorm came through. Now it's a few degrees cooler, but the air is tropically humid. I love humid air. Buongiorno, Joe. How you going? Buongiorno, as Brad Pitt said. I love that movie. Watch out for asbestos. Yeah, some of these can have asbestos on the inside of the lid, But you can bond that with some PVA glue that's been diluted, and you just brush it on, and that bonds it, so it's no longer a threat. But we'll be cognizant of that. Just chop the lead off and wire up a different plug, yeah. And it does indeed have the asbestos. That's not great. Let's pop that in a Ziploc bag for now. And I'll include that. I'll take that piece home to coat it with some PVA glue, if I can find a bag big enough. Here we go. Thank you, DigiKey. So that's as a heat shield. Come on, Ziploc, play the game. Alright, I'll just see if I can vacuum any residual dust in there. Alrighty. Now, I can't remember which way the date code works on these caps. We've got TVA 1906, so it's either 2019 or 2006. I can't remember which side of that is the week and which side is the year. But either way, it's been recapped. Down here, we've got the 1704. So again, it could either be 2017 or 2004 dated caps there. There's the successive filter caps. We've got what looks like the original 470 ohm bypass resistor there on the biasing resistor there with a bypass cap next to it. It's been replaced as well. Again, 1306, that could be 2006 or 2013. So if anyone can let us know which way the code goes. That noise cancelling doing great on the vacuum. Almost didn't realise it was on. Fantastic. Something's working for once. We've got some no-name cap there on the bypassing of the first stage. So, having a look down inside. I'm not sure that's the original transformer. I thought they came with cloth wiring, but I could be wrong. Someone has rewired it, not in a manner that I would like to see, for two reasons. So here they've gone the black wire active to the back of the volume pot. So the active switched and then straight to the transformer, and the neutral's on the fuse tip. In these, it's a bit annoying because you sort of can't wire it exactly how you want to safety wise without noise being an issue, because if you switch the active, now you've got 240 volts, or your mains voltage right next to the volume pot, which can give you some noise issues. So with these, the best way to wire it for safety is, as usual, active to the fuse tip, and from the fuse ring to the switch, and then from the switch to the transformer, and the neutral just hardwired to the transformer. But then you've got, that's maximum safety, but then you've got the noise issues. What you can do is go active to the fuse and then active to the transformer, and then switch to the neutral, which gets rid of your noise issues. Still not awesome safety wise, because when you turn it off, the active's still connected to the transformer, but at least you got the fuse in line there if anything goes wrong. The only thing then is if someone changes the fuse value on you, you could be back to having a fire hazard if it's the wrong rating. So that is a 2 amp. 2 amp seems high for these, even at American voltages. Would have expected a 1 amp there with a tiny little chucha. Just inspecting the speaker wiring. It is sort of tack soldered, but that's the original. That's the original loom, I believe. What I might do, since none of this is original, I might just wire in, just disconnect these and isolate them for a second, and then wire in one of our plugs just temporarily, just so I can power the thing up on the Variac and see how it's performing. So let's do that. Fire up the soldering iron. Good one, Brad. Are those Tweeds export models with 240 volt transformers? That was a joke. Of AEST, I think you mean, of course. But in what year did Fender start producing export models for 240 volts AC? I'm not sure. I don't think they did for any of the Tweed stuff. Maybe some of the much later ones, like right towards the end. I have seen some brown panel ones, you know, with the tan Tolex that do have voltage selectors on the back though. So it must have been towards the end of that and the start of the black panel ones. Year, week for caps. Right. Thanks, RJ. How you going, mate, by the way? It's good to see you here. It's pretty rare I see you pop in. I know you're a busy man. The blue atom looks so blue. Yeah, it's like glowing. It's probably my color balance. Okay, so if it's year, week, we'd be talking 2019. So that cap's been replaced in 2019. The other ones have been 2017. Well, they probably all replaced at the same time, but that was just the stock that they had, the vintage of the stock. And that would put the bypass cap at 2013. So late 2010s. So there you go. Alright, so we'll just leave it wide as is, because it's a controlled environment, if you'd call my shop that. Morning, Andrew, from sunny Cairns. Is it sunny yet? It's pretty bloody miserable here at the moment. Woke up to rain, fog on the drive to drive to work. Sorry, I can't speak, still haven't consumed enough caffeine. 0.3 of a volt on the main filter there. So the owner was suspicious that the sound did sound like a baffle or like a mounting screw resonating, but I said to him that is a possibility. However, this is a Weber driver that's second hand and it got shipped from the States. You can see down there, I'll just remove this Apex matched, even though it's a one-off. Classic Alnico, Ted Weber. That's a CV-A8. So Weber are pretty good drivers, but I have had a few with similar issues to what's been described here, where there's been voice coil rubbing and strange resonances. Morning, Dad. How you going? Clivey. Greetings from the Netherlands. How you going? It's always cold there, isn't it? So we've got old stock 5Y3 GT. So that's a real 5Y3. It's got the logos a bit rubbed off. What is that? Yeah, it's too... Those in the know might be able to recognize that logo, but I can't easily make that out. Mini watt? Yeah, okay. So it used to be a mini watt. Now I've turned it up the right way, I can actually see it. But that's been handled quite a bit, so the logo's gone a bit funky. But the getter looks good. It's got a little bit of a halo around it, as you get with the older valves, but it's probably fine. What I'll do is I'll just disconnect these mains wires, and I'll solder in a temporary lead, just so we can test it. And we'll dial up the variac until we're getting 6.3 volts on the heater. And then we'll see where everything's sitting, dissipation wise. It's going to be hot. Pretty rare that these come in less than about 130% in their stock form. Often need to dial back the upgrade, increase the value of the cathode resistor, and possibly introduce a screen grid resistor as well. Long-term reliability with modern valves. Now this has still got the series heaters by the looks of it. Yep. So another modification which isn't vintage original, but does improve the noise floor, is to change it to like a parallel heater setup with balanced heaters. But you could lose some market value if you did that, because it's no longer vintage. Looks like we've got the original droppers down there, the carbon comps. And the original everything in carbon comp. Let's just check them for drift. Zoom out a bit. .102.7 sounds like a radio station, and 99.8, so well within spec. It's good. Measuring the 68s because they're in parallel by the jack. We've got 34.8, so that they're probably about right. .6 K on the first stage biasing. We've got 505 ohms, 506 ohms on the cathode resistor. You can test them in circuit if you just let the meter stabilize for a minute. Charges up the caps with the multimeter. 11K there on the first dropper. 22.7K on the second dropper. So probably hasn't been used much. It looks pristine. We can have a go at it, champions. Down there's a bit of dust and dirt and stuff, but we can clean all that up. Get in there with a little brush and give it what for. What does make me think that maybe this transformer's original is you can see. Maybe you can see. You can see down on the rectifier socket there. There's a bit of greening, cable greening, green ooze coming out of the wiring there. So that's like a reaction between the copper and one of the plasticizers in the PVC jacket, and it attacks the copper very slowly, and it's not conductive. I've found that green ooze. I've tested it pretty extensively, so it doesn't present like leakage issues, but it's just messy, and it's hard to resolder to that wire again because it sort of tarnishes the copper. But whoever's been in here before has known their stuff, because they've done things like remove the ground from the transformer hardware down there, soldered to the chassis, just less likely to come undone from mechanical shock to the transformer and whatever. Probably need a little bit more solder on there. I'm not super happy with that flowing job. So we might remove that and redo that. Jacks look pretty good. Just check the contacts. Still have their spring and sproingen, more or less. Often they wear out, these shunting jacks, and stop shunting. They shan't shunt. Alright, just grab a lead. Nice short one. It's going to be a bit messy, but it'll do the job for us. Gooden is already going off topic. What does... does anyone have a recommended source and brand for a dual cure CA glue that sets immediate with UV light, but curing on its own when the light doesn't, where the light don't reach? No, I didn't know they made UV curing super glues. I know this UV curing glue. I've used them for gluing things to glass in the joinery industry. They supply you a kit when you buy a certain hinge or like a door. Like it's usually for shower screens and stuff. When you buy a hardware kit, included in the price, they rent you one of these. Or probably not included. It's probably an option. They rent you a like a UV lamp and a little shroud. So you glue it there, make sure there's no air in the gap. You can see through the glass to see if you've got any bubbles, any Michael Bublé's. And is that his name? Michael? And set the glue. We had to use that a few times for I think we made an office desk out of glass, and it was mounted on a walnut timber cabinet, but it was, the glass desk was elevated like, oh, excuse me, was elevated like 100, 200 mil off the unit for some reason. So it gave you a little niche to put all your crap under. And the 10 mil toughened glass was glued to these little metal standoffs. I think we made them out of brass, or might have been stainless, I can't remember. Yeah, as for cyanoacrylate, not sure it's a thing. Yeah, that's right. They only cure where the UV can reach them. Just tin the wires there. Might just attach that ground to the existing little eyelet down there, which isn't being used for anything, just temporarily. Just check that it's tight. Save me getting the chassis iron out, that's all. I have my tweezers. Can't find anything as soon as I start streaming. Night 3 of staring at a JTM 30 PCB and schematic. Finally found a dodgy NPN TR5 transistor. It's the small victories. Yeah, those amps are a pain. Just the way they're constructed, it's not ideal. I got some inspiration from the classic 30 on that amp, I think. Let's grab my tweezers and some braid. Working on the tweed amps is always fun. Like keyhole surgery. My big meat hooks. Just remember, this is temporary. I'll remove this after we're done and fire off the quote. He was quite happy to keep using the drop step down transformer on this one. Otherwise I could option him a transformer replacement and just give him back the original in a box. Alright, so let's wire it active to the fuse tip. Actually, you know what? For now, let's not, because if there was any noise issues before, we'll know if they're there now. Although, we're going to change it anyway, so yeah, let's go for the new one. Sorry, I'm just thinking out loud, as I tend to do. Thinking out loud is dangerous, because it makes it evident how much of an idiot you are. I don't need any more evidence of that. Enough on YouTube how it is. Fuse holder takes a bit of heat to get flowing. Right, let's get out the variac. Slowly ramp this little bad boy up, see what's going on. Let's take it up to 100 first, we'll just see what happens there. Grab my meter, one of them. Just monitor the AC voltage as we're ramping her up. It's going to be a bit of a haywire mess in here for a minute. We're switched off. Switch it over to AC. Zoom out a bit. Drawing about 15 watts. Just wait for that to warm up. We'll get some get a meter on the cathode there as well. Already seeing conduction. All right, get the signal, Jenny. Getting some noise, not much though. Give it about 200 millivolts of signal, 1 kilohertz. Helps if you turn the output on. On switch. Number 1. It's going to number 1. bring down the frequency a bit so we can hear some resonances. Yeah, there is some buzzing or something there. Yeah, that definitely sounds like, I'll just turn off the sound, the noise gate, because it's probably messing with the, what's actually going on. It does sound to me like, voice coil rubbing. Unfortunately, I think it's the driver. He did say he has a Celestion there, which you could try in it. And it seems to be a common thing with Webers. I thought they were really good drivers, but what could also be the case is the screws were done up unevenly. Just grab my other meter. I know it's a meter everywhere kind of deal. What have we got on the heaters? 5.4. Let's bring that up a bit. You can see they are. Okay, so that's coming at, we're at 6 volts now. 6.4. I've got about 6.4 on the heater there. And we've got 18 volts on that 470. That's 38 milliamps. And from the cathode to plate, we have sorry, it's hard to work over this and see what I'm doing. What? 10 volts? Beg your pardon? Oh, it's because I turned it off. I turned it down. I must have accidentally gone all the way. Idiot. 10 volts. Oh, mercy. Alright, 342. Jesus. So we've got 13 watts. So it's running 110%, so that's not bad. Providing we give it exactly what, 113 volts AC. Which is sitting about where we want. So that is good, but it seems to, as you give it a bit more, the voice coil warms up a bit. And starts occurring by itself. Let's just stand her up, have a quick play, just make sure nothing dislodges in the process. Noise floor is very good. That's all the way up. There's very little hum, slight bit of hiss. I won't bother miking it up or anything, but I'll just have a quick test with it. Feels weird playing the LTD through it, so let's grab the Strat. Sounds very nice and warm, actually. Little bugger. Just turn my gain down a bit. Hang on. No easy way to do that. Maybe I need to mic it up. Hang on. No close miking. I can't reach. Sorry, I just realised I was muted on the other mic. Pro show here, eh? That sounds really good. That's one of the best sounding champs I've ever heard. So that's probably partially due to that speaker. And I'm not noticing that problem with the voice coil during playing. So I wonder if he's just like getting a bit up in its grills and moving stuff around and getting a bit worried. But I might tell him, look, that speaker, although when you do manipulate it, it does exhibit some voice coil rubbing. It doesn't happen during normal use scenarios. So what we might do is just check that mounting hardware isn't like super uneven. Like if one screw is completely loose and one screw is over tight, and you can distort the basket and get it to the point where that starts occurring. Because the only thing that really centers the cone on the former and the magnet is the basket. Now these Weber baskets don't have any pressing in them. Like they're pressed themselves, but they don't have any ribs, anything to strengthen them. They're just basically a cone that's got some holes cut out of it. So they're not a very sturdy basket. It wouldn't take much to knock that out of center. You could go down the path of like manipulating it and overbending it to the point where you sort of form the basket back, but you're shaking hands with danger when you do that, especially when it's someone else's speaker. So I might tell him just to leave that speaker in. We'll just check the hardware, but it looks like the valves are in great condition. The recap's probably still fine because we're only talking, well, if that's the date codes, we're only talking late 2010s. All the resistors are in tolerance. So I might give him an option if he does want to change it to 240 volts, but I'd suggest just probably using a step down with it. If he's already got one, may as well. And yeah, for once I don't have to fully rebuild something, which is fantastic. So having a look at the 5F1 champ amp, production 77. I don't know if that. What does the production mean on the sticker down there? Is that's not number 77 made? I don't think. Yeah, they're beautiful little things. 0463. So I wonder if there's a stamp on the side of the cabinet there that says 0463 down in there. Is it RD 0463? So it might be a 19... I don't know, it's got to be a 50s one. Although they did make champs in tweed after everything else had transitioned to Tilex. So this could be a 63, because I know they were making champs. The champs were the longest run of the tweed stuff. So this could be a 60s tweed. Got a serial number down here, C19916. So we could look that up as well to date the thing properly. Yeah. Should be a 2-letter stamp. Well, it's a 4-letter stamp. 4-number stamp. You guys probably know more historian stuff than I do. Should be a letter on the tube chart, stamped or written. There is MA on a stamp. I'm assuming that's the inspector. There is some crayon under the sticker, which I can't make out. Let's see if the camera can. The cameraman can. Let's just change the ISO. Oh, Banny boy, come on, mate. I know you can focus because I pressed the button and you focus, so don't pretend you can't. So it says 77, and then this stuff down under the sticker as well, and it says MA there. On the other side, it says, if we're looking upside down, it looks like MD or ND 0463. MA is January 1963. Okay, so it's a 63 champ. Wow. You see one and you just assume 50s, but then I did a bit of research last night. I'm not very good with the historian stuff, champions. I don't have a lot of time to to get into that stuff. It's usually not something that my customers would understand me taking time to research. They just want their shit back straight away, right fast, quick, in a hurry. But that sounded really good. On the verge of breakup, that was one of the smoothest overdriving champs I've ever heard. That speaker is beautiful, other than the obvious issues with the slight pole piece voice coily things. So yeah, the other thing, of course, I'll water down some PVA. So you mix it about 50-50 with water, something like that, and then just probably roll it on so we don't disturb the asbestos, and I'll do that outside at home. And that should lock that in for good. I might thin it more actually, so it gets right into the fibre. Mine had the yellow Astrons. Yeah, this is the blue molded, so being 60, that would be in line with it being a 60s as well, because they'd figured out that the Astrons were shit even by then, and they stopped using them. So I believe they stopped using them early 60s. When exactly, I'm not sure. But yeah, that with the neutral to the back of the switch there, that was very, very quiet. So it's a beautifully performing little tweed choocher. So I'll put that one aside. I know what we're going to do with that, more or less. Move up to its next biggest brother. Probably got asbestos on this one too. The classic, the GOAT champions, the GOAT. This one is 240, so I'll keep the Variac handy, but just put it aside there. What a lovely patina this thing has. Have a go at it. I don't know why they don't know how to do the writing like they used to back then on the chassis. All the reproduction chassis, even the Fender ones, they just can't get the writing to stay there. But just do what you did back then. Whatever it was, pull out the archives and just do that, because it stays there forever, that writing. Crazy how long it stays there. None of the other brands could figure it out either. I had a 1960 Champion recently that was in great shape, but it had a 3 amp fuse and a 5U4 instead of a 5x3, yeah. Was that the one you had just recently? Oh no, that was a kit, wasn't it? I'm talking to Wes, sorry. Hi Lyle, how you going, legend? Just pop the noise suppression back on so you don't hear every little sniffle and snort. C19916 equals 1963. Thank you, Richard. This is why I have you guys here, you bloody legends. I have to send you a paycheck. Who are you hassling, Scotty? Q? Who's Q? Not QAnon. G'day, Joe. How you going, legend? Searching for tone. Is that you're talking to Scott. Jesse, how you going, legend? Maybe the customer is playing humbuckers. All of my amps rattle more. Yeah, true. Sounds good with the Strat. Yeah, a Strat and a Champ. Fucking combination from heaven. So, this one. The GOAT. The Deluxe. The 5E3. Man, that is a taut grill. That is really tight still. Again, why couldn't Vox figure out how to make a grill that holds on? It's the reason these things can take such a beating. And they look all the more pretty for it. Look at that. It's gorgeous. Someone's got some big ass washers in there. I don't know if that's a repair on the speaker mounting points. A little bit ugly seeing them through the grill, but whatever. I just want to touch it. Just want to caress it. I should do this to my next deluxe that I build. But I feel like it's sort of like false valor when I'm against relicking anything, man. Like, people have asked me to do it. I'm just, nah, just play it more. Just drag it around with you everywhere, man. Like, take it to the beach and fucking throw it in the sand. Like, if you want it to look like that, earn it with life experience. Don't just fake it and then sit there and look at it. Like, you should be dragging the thing around with you everywhere. And by virtue of that, you play it more often, and then you earn your stripes rather than buying your stripes, you know? So, I don't know. I'm not keen on false relicking, but this is the real deal. So he has been playing all of these up until recently. When he brought him in, he's got a bunch of other amps. So this one, instrument channel performing as expected, but slightly noisy. And mic channel is incredibly noisy. So again, check everything as service. So we'll whack the back cover off. I might prepare. I don't think this one's got asbestos on it because he's only a little bit down past the valves. And this is interesting. I thought they had a bigger back panel and a smaller bottom panel, but that's actually kind of good because we don't have the asbestos issue to worry about, because they didn't put asbestos in this area. They only put it to reflect the heat of the valves. Winger t-shirt, yeah. Beavis and Butthead really destroyed Winger's career, didn't they? When the biggest nerd in school had a Winger t-shirt. I buried a guitar in the backyard for a month. Was it like that the Hakko? The shark? The Greenland shark that's toxic unless you ferment it? Humans will find out a way to eat anything, eh? I love how nature has its little defense mechanisms, like chili, and then we're just like, and we intentionally grow it for its defense mechanisms. Hey, Joe! Yep, we've got a little ground wire there. That's just kitchen foil. Actually, you know what? I think that has asbestos under it too. So someone's put the foil on it. I don't know why they put asbestos in that area, because it doesn't get that hot there. But yeah, someone's put foil over it to stop the asbestos there, so we'll just be aware of that as well. Now I'm overexposed. Might just put it onto auto ISO for a minute, champions, and see how Penny Boy does. Now it's too dark. Let's go to 800. Put that one aside. Alright, what are we playing with? We've got, not sure that's the original driver, P12Q. Some not so great solder connections on the speaker down there, but nothing too dramatic. But we could clean that up. We've got Mesa branded 6v6s in this one. Looks like a bit of discoloration there on the silk screen. We have a date, 05 maybe. And we've got another mini watt 5x3 there. Again, probably purchased as new old stock because it's been handled a lot. Made in Australia, that one. Very ruddly though. We've got Fender 12AX7 and a Jan USA 12Y7 with the pins all cattywampus. So we'll just straighten them up with the pin straightener. Panny boy. See what I'm working with here? I need another Sony. Just sort of massage that on. Alright, so in the chassis, we've got some IC brand caps there. Not necessarily a bad thing because they're not the Fender production ones that suck. We've got the original Mini Mite bypass cap there. We've got a true ohm cathode resistor, 250 ohm. We do have the Astron there on the tone, but that's not under high voltage differential, so that's probably fine, but Astron's a bit of a red flag. Someone's replaced, this would have had the original yellow Astrons there, they've replaced them all with generic. Everyone's seen these ones, you get them from all the sort of Radio Shacky type places or whatever the equivalent is these days. There are no branding on them, they're just generic film caps there. They're probably fine. And we've got two Astron bypass caps up there as well, so we'll check them, but I dare say they're at the end of their life. On the sticker down there, we've got production, it says 19, and then a stamp that says HK. Trying to do three things at once again. 19 HK. So go for it, minions. What does that mean? Probably a serial number on the chassis as well. What have we got up here? We have got D 06408. There you go. So pause on that frame and do my research for me. So having a look at the valve side. Got the original carbon grid stoppers down there. And we've got the safety earth mounted on transformer hardware, so we can relocate that to this side over here where they've already got some connections soldered to the end of the chassis there, as you can see. But yeah, back to the valve side. Still got the original screws there with the paint on the nuts. Not wrong with painting your nuts. What you do in your time's your business. We've got unbalanced 6.3. Well, yeah, unbalanced heater. Looks like someone's put some coax there for the input of the mic volume. There's a aftermarket wire there linking the two cathodes together. But again, pretty clean unit. Besides the recap, which was probably done out of necessity. So let's have a look at the front panel. Got the original domino there. Looks like the original jacks. And obviously someone's changed the mains cord there. So we've gone neutral to fuse tip, and we've gone active to switch, and the other side of those are off to the transformer. we'll fix that up. But we could fire it up temporarily and just see how she do. So this is not stock because it was just asbestos there before, but that would offer some extra shielding. If noise is an issue and it does need shielding, then we could put some flashing on it instead of just kitchen foil, because that stuff is so brittle it can just, if it gets touched at all, it'll rip and little bits of foil will be floating around in the amp, which is not good. Chassis screw needs a big washer, yeah. You had lionfish in Florida once. Andy, how you going, legend? Lionfish, is that the really dangerous, like poisonous thing with all the crazy crazy spikes and stuff coming off it? Well spotted, Wes. Yes, HK standard on the chassis too. That means it's made in Hong Kong, right? No. So I'm pretty happy to fire this thing up and have a quick listen. See if there's any weirdness. I might stand it. Should I stand it up? You can't see much then. I'll lay it down. We'll just listen for noise and stuff first. Obviously, we're not going to get much of a noise performance out of this thing with it laying on its face. The ground switch has been disconnected, so whoever worked on it removed the def cap, which is good. Alrighty, so I'll just check the might just attach my leads with it upright because I can't see anything while it's lying down on its face. Probe 1. Loving these new Pomona leads. They're fantastic. It's just good to have some silicon that doesn't fight you every time you try to move something. Ooh, there's a mic stand there. Alright, where did my old Pomona leads go? I think I put them away because I was so impressed with the new ones. Yep. It's everything attached. Just check the heater voltage with the probes. Did I say original transformer? It couldn't be the original transformer because it's 240 volt. Let's have a look without removing it. We'll see if I can see any markings on the transformer. It does look pretty old school too. So it might have been changed some years ago. Oh, we do have a marking on there. I can't, not enough light though. We have a Triad 6452L. 6452L. Let's look that up. Tweed Deluxe transformer. There you go. So I think Triad's been long out of business. They were from like... Well, there's one here, a Fender Triad 6452E 5E3. So that could have been the original transformer made for 240 volts. I might just double check that it's not. Because it still says 110 volts on the sticker, but Fender was notorious for just using the same sticker for everything. So I might just power that up with the Variac, because it could be a 240 volt plug, but still a 110 volt transformer. There's yeah, there's one going here for, well, it already sold. It's sold for $715 for a power transformer, 1956. It doesn't say the voltage, but 6452, that's the number we're looking at. So it could be, because this is in the US, it could be that this is still 110 volts, but just with the 240 volt plug to use with a Variac or something. So you don't just go plugging it straight into 240. Let's have a Fluke Flex. Fluke Flex time. Every time an electrical engineer or a Sparky or something comes into my shop and they see all the Flukes sitting on the bench, you're like, fuck! All the gear, no idea. Did I just unplug them and plug them back into the other meter? Right, smart, Brad. I'm pretty happy with Pomona everything from the leads at the moment. If they weren't so bloody expensive, though, that'd be nice. But, you know, buy once, cry once, they say. Alright, just pop that on the heaters, which we can easily put on the lamp there. It doesn't really have anywhere to hook onto. I might get a bit of that lead. Everyone loves these Fender lamp holders, but they do fail quite a bit and go intermittent. People think their amp's dying, and it's just the connection to the bulb. Got like a 10-kilometer long lead. That's cool. That must be like 4 meters long. Yeah, it literally goes to my wall at the other end of the shop. Bloody hell. Alright, we'll zoom out for the proper Fluke Flex effect. You want to twist that way, lead? Okay, I'll let you twist that way. Alright, I forgot what I attached everything to. So that there I'll widen back to front so you'll see negative voltages, but whatever. Voltage is a voltage. So that one there is the right hand valve. And that one there Can't see what's what. Is left-hand valve. So that should show us the primary DC resistance. So 199 ohms, 213 ohms. This one here is the B+. And this one here is the heater voltage. So that's AC, that's DC. That's millivolts, that's millivolts. Alright, let's go for it. Slides on, that way. Just check the fuse before we go crazy. 2 amp anti-surge from radio spares. Nice. Give it some signal. Go into the instrument input first. I can see which one it is. Go into the instrument first. Put the tone halfway. Put the volumes down to start with. And wake that meter up. Wake up, Jeff. Already starting to get B+. Pretty quick acting recto valve there. Okay, so it is 240 volt. So we're sitting at like 120 odd, and we've got 4 volts. Oh, we're drawing pretty heavy voltage across the primary there. Nine watts so far. Drawing 60 watts from the wall at 330. So we're already drawing 11.5 per valve at 200, about 220 volts. Let's see what it actually is. $230. It's in at 6.2 on the heater there. We're at 243, which is about what we get here. So yeah, she's a 240 volt transformer, obviously, and that's actually pretty good spot to sit at for for the heater voltage. The Fluke still get me very cool. Open heart surgery. It looks a bit like that, doesn't it? Oop. We're still sitting on the 100 hertz that I had before. That's not rectifier noise. Don't worry. When you feed it 100 hertz, you panic for a second because 50 hertz rectified is 100 hertz. So when you leave it on 100 hertz and you crank it up, it sounds like horrible short circuit hum. So everything's working. So here's the noise he was describing. Just turn off the noise suppression. Here's the noise he was describing on the instrument channel, the mic channel, sorry. A little bit of that on the instrument channel, but much less. So that could be the carbon comps. Could be a valve. You can hear there the hum increasing. Let's put my hand near the valve, because that's the anode right there, obviously. So we could put a shield on that. I'll try and find one that's old so it looks the part. I do have a few floating around, I think, from various old parted out amps. Getting noise from the wireless mic there. It could also be one of the carbon comps starting to break down. Yeah, it's likely that one there. Just touching it is making it fluctuate. Well, that sounds pretty cool. Yeah, say it's that resistor there starting to break down because that's the most sensitive spot. Flexing the board affects it. Could also be leakage, actually, to that point. Let me just... Could be board leakage. It's gonna oscillate when I do that. Let's just turn that down. No leakage there. It's cool. Actually, surprisingly, no leakage. Like, at all. Impressive. So yeah, I'd say we just need to replace that carbon comp. I've got some newer production carbon comps in stock. Problem is they're so out of spec and they're always consistently under. But looking at the voltage, 354 sounds low to me on the HT, but it's probably for the better. Means your 6v6s will last a long time. I think I remember around 380, 390 on the one I built and the various other ones I've worked on. Let's just have a look. It says it on the schematic. I just can't remember what it says on that particular schematic. So we're drawing about 8 volts across 200 ohms by 350. So that's 14 watts. It's about in the Goldilocks zone, to be honest. Just one sec, just getting a schematic. It's got the voltages on it, that's all. I just can't remember off the top of my head what they sit at. I should have a little chart made up for each amp. That's something I've got to get around to doing just because my memory's so terrible. But yeah, again, it seems like not a hell of a lot wrong with this one. I might give him the option for some nicer quality caps in there, and we'll replace those bypasses with some V-shays. Those film caps are probably fine. We can leave them in. Upgrade that, well, you know, replace that plate resistor. We'll do a carbon comp there as well, but we'll select one for the right resistance. Like I say, sometimes they you actually have to choose one that's 110 for it to be 100. But they do drift up over time, so you can go 100, but initially it'll be like 94 or something. Maybe they're like 10%ers, so that's still alright. But yeah, the ones you get from CE distribution, they go out quite a bit. Or they are out quite a bit. 82 viewers. Yeah, we're doing alright. I'd like to see over 100. Come on, share it around. Like the stream, champions. Remember to like it. Was that a basement in the thumbnail? Tanner, you'll just have to wait and see, buddy. I want an old rocket. You got an old rocket, Scotty. It's between your legs. There's a rocket coming up. Little this same customer. There is a Ampeg on the way. Once I get past the next one, you'll see the guts. I haven't dealt with many, if any, old Ampegs. It's cool to see the older amps starting to come in. There's not many out here. They're quite few and far between. There's lots of older, younger Ampegs floating around, but you know what they're like. We won't talk about them. Come on, internet, you can do it for me. Well, we'll just keep an eye on this one for a sec, and I'll just catch up with the comments. Pardon me. Pair of 6v6 in it, Brad. Yeah. You just saw it. Lionfish are now invasive to the Gulf of Mexico, and yes, highly venomous spines. I'm told they taste really good, however. It's always a way, isn't it? Typos are required in Brad's chat. Good on you, Wes. Had pufferfish before. They are poisonous to really good, almost like scallops. They advertise them. What are they? Fuju or something in Japan. It's like a tourist trap thing. That and Kobe beef and stuff. They put lots of signs up everywhere. It's just a tourist trap where they sell you overpriced stuff that's no better than anywhere else. But yeah. I forget what they call it in Japan, but it's basically poisonous pufferfish. It's a delicacy over there that they charge way too much for, and no one local eats it. Little Gibson amp has a field coil speaker. It seems to be in good shape. Which little amp was that? Call me when you have 487Vs. Yeah, I've been looking at one or two of them, second hand, but I don't know. I think they're a bit over the top for my needs. It would be good to have something with logging capability in it though, which I don't have yet. Alex, how you going, mate? Alex De Leon, hello all. My apologies for habitual tardiness. That's all right, buddy. I have a Tesco Delray neck in a heat clamp. Well, yeah, keep an eye on that. I've had to monitor it, otherwise fingerboard will delaminate. Yeah, pay attention to that, buddy. Put me in an earphone and just watch it like a hawk. How do you track down noisy carbons? Well, in this case, I just poked it. but yeah, you can scope it, or you can, often what you can do is put a bit of freeze spray on a cotton bud, and it'll go mental when you touch it, particularly if it's already a bit warm. So if we grab a bit of freeze spray and hold it on that problem resistor, that way you're not putting too much pressure on it, because if there's another component on there that's exhibiting change from mechanical stress, when you push on it, it could be flexing the whole board and giving you a false positive. But if we put this just gently, hear the noise go crazy? Because carbon resistors are basically, well, it's like carbon mixed with clay compressed, and the percentage of carbon to clay determines its resistance. Here it's fluctuating quite a bit with the temperature change, and that's with like barely any pressure on it, so that's a bit of a telltale. Tweeds indeed. Alright, should have downloaded something by now. Okay, so on the schematic, it's got no voltages. Someone's cleaned up this schematic though. I've seen the ones with voltages on there, and no. I do have notes online. Sorry, on my accounting system from the last ones I've looked at and what I measured them at, so I'll just have to have a read through that. Anyway, I think I know what we've got to do to this. We'll quote for putting flashing on the back panel, stabilizing the asbestos first. Sorry, just mental block. We'll replace we'll recap it for the ICs just so we've got better quality caps in there. I'll option this because it still does work, and he's not using it for gigs, so it doesn't have to be like, when I go on about, you should recap stuff, preventative maintenance and all of that. That's if you're gigging with it or recording with it. If you're just someone at home that just plays it and can handle, won't get stressed out if it fails or if it causes issues, you can just run stuff as long as it's not critical, like the bias supply. That could cause extra damage. Obviously, this doesn't have a bias supply because it's cathode biased. But yeah, if it's critical for a gig and you're going to have it fail halfway through a set and get laughed off stage, that's when you really need to preemptive maintenance. What am I trying to say? Preventative maintenance. Whereas if it's a bit of studio gear and you've got a bunch of other stuff as well, and you can handle dealing with problems when they occur, then you can keep stuff a bit more original if it does hold value for being original. If you don't care and you just want to play the thing all the time and have it rock solid, then you can do the preventative maintenance. It's an option thing. When stuff comes in like fenders, recent fenders within the last 20 years, I won't work on them unless they recap them, but unless we've got specific written, it's not worth working on them unless you're going to recap them. Let's put it that way, because it's going to fail in the next year or two, and then what happens is it could be 2 years, could be 5 years. People come in the door and they say the first thing is, "Oh, you only just repaired it. Now it's failed again." It's like, dude, I repaired it 5 years ago, and I told you to do a recap, and you didn't want to, so. You just got to keep everything on record. I don't get how these guys survive with just handwritten invoices and stuff. You need to document everything to cover your ass, and stick it up the customer's ass if they try and get free shit out of you. Because it does happen. It's pretty rare, but it does happen. And when you got the records, you can just say, you actually brought that in 6 years ago. And they're like, oh, it doesn't feel like that long ago. Oh, I barely used it since. It's like, all right, prove that you barely used it. Well, how do you prove that? So you just got to say, well, it's your word against mine. I don't care how much you've used it. It doesn't specify in my warranty how many hours without logging that you're allowed to use it before it can fail again in 5 years. There's no mention of that. It's a 90-day warranty. That's it. And it's only to do with the parts that I've worked on. Like if you blow a speaker 70 days after I've worked on it, well, it's nothing to do with me. So yeah, you've got to be pretty strict in your conditions. Make sure they sign everything, and just make sure you're very clear about anything, because there's nothing people hate worse than when it seems like you're trying to obfuscate information. Understandably so. Let's unbolt this thing from the life support rack. Now we're happy it's not going to go on fire. And let's have a quick play. I might spin this one around. I'll get the mic, the longer mic stand, so I can put it in an optimal position. Try not to shock myself. I might stand it up for this because I can't see what I'm doing. You can look at the lovely dual light there. Alright, Flukies, go to sleep. I do love my Flukes. I don't take them to bed with me though. Michelle wouldn't let me. I have asked. Now I've got to think up more than one riff. I can't. I need to practice more, champions. I know I say it every episode, but I literally haven't had a chance since the last one. Alright, that's the one with the ridiculously long boom arm. That's for miking the drum kit when you don't want to get too close to the drummer because he smells. Bit of hum there, probably from, I could check the ripple, probably from the ICs not being great. It's also probably from the lighting. Yeah. Yeah, the lighting's a bit of a bugbear here, where it's a constant battle between decent lighting and noise. Because everything's LED with switch mode power supplies these days. Imagine if all my bench lighting was incandescent, how fucking hot it would get in here though. Hiccups. Alright, let's have a crank. You guys see everything? Yep, sweet. Just grab the Stratty. And play the best amp in the world. 5E3. See what that speaker sounds like too. Mute my mic. One thing I like doing with deluxes is crank up the volume along with the tempo. Boom, shake, shake, shake the room. Now, and then turn down the volume on the guitar, and you get this real glassiness. I'm not sure what happens there with the impedances and whatever, but sorry. Well, there you go, champions. So again, not in need of a full rebuild, which is nice for a change. It's been taken care of, and it's been respected by the service people involved. It's very rare these days. You can tell how shocked I am, because you've seen the stuff that comes in here. There's so many local techs that are just fucking, I don't know, just starting to not. I don't know if they were ever competent, but they're certainly not now. And you've seen the horror shows that come in here by supposed full-time professional techs in the area. It's heartbreaking, man. It's not me trying to one-up someone. It's me trying to save these things before they get their hands on them, because they invariably destroy them. And they require lots and lots of work to get back to the point where they're performing even to 1/10 of what that was, and this one still needs a little bit of work for long term, but essentially the main complaint from the customer is just that one resistor. But I'll option in some other stuff, like I said, and we'll do the thing with the asbestos, like the champ as well. But that was sounding fantastic. Sounds better than my tweed. Probably because of the speaker choice, but I do agree. Someone said that the speaker doesn't sound as good as a champ. Yeah, that's true. That Weber speaker sounds amazing in that champ. And I'm not a big fan of the speaker I've got in mine, but it was just put in there because it's all I had at the time. But I'll put a ET65 in there, or a creamback. Who doesn't love a bit of a creamback? I know your mum does. So I'll put that lovely little bugger in the storeroom. I'll take those covers home with me so I can treat them in the garage, not possibly get dust in the shop here. And we're on to the Enigma. Do you want a? Do you want another tweed, or do you want a palette cleanser? Can I do a vote? Start a poll. Another tweed. Palette cleanser. There we go. High tech. It's a democracy over here. There's not many left in the world. Where's the poll gone? Is it there? No, it would not be a good time to insert ads. Bloody YouTube. Oh, it's because I got it on top chat. Yeah, change it to live chat, everyone, or you might miss that poll. You might miss everyone's comments and not know what people are talking about. Just a reminder: change the chat over to live chat or all chat, not top chat. It's so annoying that they got that feature. I wish they just. I guess it's for channels that get 1 million comments a second, so you don't get flooded with them. Toss a coin. No. Relax, guy. I'm getting a lot of stream this week. Yeah, that's because I've been too lazy, or not lazy, too busy to do edited videos, Admiral. I'm hoping to get back on that train, but every time I go to do one, there's like, oh fuck, I need that part, or I need this, or I need that, and I'm like, I've got to put it off, and then the customer wants their amp back, so then I'm just like, shit, alright, get it out. So I need to just buckle down and go into focus mode, because it's not so much the time required to shoot a video or edit it, it's the fact that your mind is in video production mode while you're making a video, whereas your mind is in repairing the fucking amp mode when you're repairing an amp, not doing anything else. So it slows you down just thinking about the video, whereas when you're focused on the amp, you've got like a podcast on, or you got some instrumental music on, and you're in the zone and you're just getting the thing done. Just having a video and thinking about what you're saying next, and trying not to say anything dumb or do anything stupid is like incredibly taxing for me anyway, because I'm a bit of a dumbass. So all right, 72% for another tweed. Well, I guess that's what you get. There you go. There's the results. Another tweet it is. Let me just blow my nose first. I've got that wet nose dog thing going on. All right, this one's a little bit of a one that might require a little bit of research. Do you like my background lighting, by the way? I've got the cool, the warm, the fuck off, the decibels. The things I do for you champions. I've got the Fender Heartfield over on the bench here. This is a bloody amazing guitar. Before we go on, just a quick palette cleanser. These things. Unbelievable. Made in Japan. Sorry, the knobs and stuff are off. I've just put it back together after giving it a thorough clean inside and out. I didn't know much about these things, but it's a Heartfield by Fender. Floydy. Actual Floydy. Beautiful frets. Apparently made by Ibanez. Damasio USA pickups, jumbo frets, not one skerrick of fret creep or sprout. All the frets are perfectly seated. It looks like an Ibanez body. Nice heel with the cutaway, the offset, and just a really well done guitar, well finished, made in Japan. Goto hardware, so that makes me think it might be Fujigen or someone like that was manufacturing for Ibanez. It's got the Ibanez headstock. I don't know anything about them. I've got to do some research, but really well built guitar, no issues at all. But it got sort of forgotten about for a good couple of decades. So the customer brought it in. He wanted to get it schmicked up and ready for action. So that's what we're doing. Just pop some elixirs on there. And just about to finish the setup. Took the bridge fully apart, cleaned all the schmoo off, got the majority of the tarnishing off the but still left a bit of a patina on there because it looks weathered and cool. But yeah, she's a fucking gun of a guitar if you like the chugs. I'll keep an eye out for one of them because they're sort of relatively unknown, at least to my stupid ass. So there might be a bargain to be had out there. Fujigen, they were Fujigen, were they? Awfully pointy, that. Yeah, it was. Looks like yeah, it looks very much like an Ibanez. No blue guitars. That's a that one's a double violator. Oh, come on, you vintage fanboys. It's a good guitar. Hate those barrel jacks though. They're junk. They work. The Fender R-Stabber 250. It would definitely chug, Wes. It would chug like crazy. But yeah, made in Japan. The fretwork is beautiful. One more week till Dry July ends. That's right. I believe the guitar garage will be temporarily closed. Well, you know what the plan was? We were going to go to the pub on Friday because Mum and Dad are coming to town. Dad's going to give us a hand with the bench with some of the hi-fi amps that are in the queue. We were going to go to the pub on Friday, have one or two, nothing too hectic. Although when you go out for one or two, that's when you come home in a shopping trolley. Then Saturday we've got a formal event, so I've got to be on my best behaviour for that and not hungover. So I won't be going too hard on Friday night. Won't be going too hard on Saturday night because I don't want to ruin my suit. But Sunday we were going to do. The girls got us boys a couple of vouchers to go to Starwood Whiskey in Sydney, in Marrickville, and they've got a whiskey. They got a distillery tour and a whiskey blending session. I know, blended whiskey, blah blah blah. Blended whiskey can be really good. Point being, you get to drink lots of whiskey. So we were going to be doing that on Sunday, but they're booked out. So Sunday might be just having a beer and maybe starting the smoker at home, something like that. We'll see what happens. I'm closed Monday anyway. So Monday I'll be working in the garage at home, doing some guitar stuff that's overdue, some broken headstocks, some bridge resets, some routing, some gluing, just cleaning the place up too, getting organised, sort of like spring cleaning, because I like spring to be for doing stuff rather than spring cleaning. So I like to clean towards the end of winter and organise everything. Recycling some stuff, clearing up the yard a bit, just making it so it's not such a battle once the warm weather begins. Are you a werewolf, Brad? No. No claws there, brother. No whatever's knives. I don't know. I don't watch comics, read comics. So many random cool guitars out there, especially out of Japan. Yeah, well, that's why I thought I'll keep an eye out for one because they're really cool. There's some poor guy in town trying to sell his denim blue Epiphone Casino. He got it down to 500 Canadian now. Denim blue Epiphone Casino. Copy. Paste. Let's have a look. Let's see if we can find it. The listing. So they're going for like $2,000 over here. Oh no, hang on. That must be a different one. There's some listed for like 1,800, but then I'm looking at the market price is 1,000. for, I guess, new ones, and they're all out of stock. So retail $12.99 Australian. Pardon me. So what's he trying to get for it? 500 Canadian. So that's about what the market price for a new one is. Starwood, yeah. Have you had Starwood, Wes? Is that over there? Can you find it? I think they ship I think they sell internationally. They're one of the biggie. They're one of the bigger single malt, well, you know, whiskey brands in Australia. The Starwood and the Lark is overpriced, but good. Tasmanian. The Tasmanian ones are really expensive for some reason, but Tasmania is sort of like the perfect place to make whiskey because it's much like Scotland in terms of weather. It gets a bit hotter in summer, but you know. What's the other one? There's Starwood and Archie Rose. Oh, did I say Starwood? I meant Archie Rose. Archie Rose is in Sydney. Starwood's in Melbourne. I always get the two mixed up. So Archie Rose and Starwood are the two biggest single malt producers, I think. And they make some very good stuff and some very affordable stuff that is still very good. And that's what you want. Anyway, moving on. We've got this lovely thing. A Tremolux. Zoom out. So it's like a 5E3 with a tremolo tacked onto it. But they had lots of changes throughout the years. It's actually the evolution of these things I was researching last night. It's actually pretty interesting. So here's the label. You can't see it. So we've got complete wear through there on the grill cloth. It looks like it's been glued back. That actually works alright. It looks like they've used a bit of hide glue or something, and because yeah, you see the tweeds and they go all fluffy where they rip and they look ridiculous, but someone's like glued it back so it looks weathered and awesome, but it's not fluffy and ridiculous. Doesn't look like it's wearing flares with the little fluffy bits on the side, you know. Yeah, it's a big box. So they had a few different cabinet styles on this as well. So they had the deluxe style cabinet, the small cab. This is one of the bigger ones. I think apparently they made a 1x15 at some point as well, which would have been a beast. Nothing sucks like a Lux. What? Fuzzy amps. Nah, you're just not using them right, mate. They're not meant to be like maxed out, but yeah, I love a deluxe. Sounds awesome. And you probably love lots of songs that were recorded with deluxes anyway, so pull your bloody high horse back in. So, Tremolux. It's had a replacement handle at some point. The handles love to break on these things. It's still really light. Like people say valve amps are heavy, but only the ones that are made out of like MDF and plywood and shit, the solid pine ones, they're light as. Like that's a large cabinet, and you can easily lift that with one arm. Alrighty, so we've got what looks like a 5U4 in there, which is on the chart. Apparently at some point they changed from a 5Y3 to a 5U4. We can run over the history a bit. I'll have to pull up the website to remind myself. You got a Jensen in there, made in Italy, so that's a modern one. P12N 8 ohm. It's got the 12 volt, 240 volt plug, sorry, and we'll just confirm that that's actually what it's set up for. Got a Switchcraft aftermarket plug. Yeah, the last version of the Tremolux is what I was after for a long time. This is an earlier one, I think. I did, in the research that I did, not great soldering in there, but it'll work for now. That's 5E9, was it? 5E9-A was the last one from memory. And this is reportedly a 5E9. 5E9. No, 5G9 was the last one, wasn't it? Does this one have a long tail pair? No, that's what we've got to find out. No, I meant literally fuzzy. Oh, tweed coming apart. Right. But yes, the real tweed fenders sound fuzzy when used in anger. Yeah, they do. They go a little bit flabby. But you can change that, Admiral. There's a few different things you can do to make that happen less. One of them's a grid stopper on the input, on the very grid of the phase inverter input. And if this is the one with the long-tailed pair, that's the one I'd personally be after, because you can it performs a bit closer to a basement in terms of the breakup. So much friendlier to drive real hard. Sort of like considered a big boy amp when they changed from the Cassadine over to the long-tailed pair. You had a real man's amp, you know, not to be macho or nothing. Again, we'll just check for the asbestos. This has got, someone's installed cup washers on this. I don't think it would have come with them standard. In brief, general terms, how does the tweed sound different from a blackface? Are there any good new tweed fenders that are reliable and sound amazing? So the first question, I guess a lot of it goes back to the fact that most of them were cathodione phase inverters. Most of them had kind of underpowered. They weren't aiming for massive headroom yet, so they hadn't done a lot of the stuff that is required to get big headroom, like large plate voltages, long tail pairs. A lot of them use 5i3, so they're known as a bit squashy, a bit more middle heavy. Didn't have the tone stack like the black faces do that naturally scoop the mids. So they were much more middly. They compressed a lot more, but they didn't have that crystal clean biting top end and that. Yeah, I mean, they have a fair bit of bottom end, but they didn't have that mid scoop. I'd say if you're going to sum it up to one thing, it's to do with the tone stack, mid scoop. The next important thing, I guess, is the headroom from the long tail pair and the high plate voltages. It's probably the two biggest factors. Okay, I think someone's removed the asbestos on that one and they've put the aluminium flashing. That's a good option. It's like 0.5 mil aluminium stapled in place. That's probably the best bet. You can see there the heat from the output valves. So that's one of the reasons why they put the asbestos on the later versions. You can see there it's actually like burned the tweed and peeled back from that area. So that's gotten very hot. It's got some modern production 6V6s in there from JJ's, 6V6S. These are known to go microphonic, so we'll check them. Okay, this one's not looking as clean. Someone's removed the selenium rectifier, so that's good because they are failure prone, and when they do fail, they release a terrible smelling toxic smoke that congeals on all the inside of the amp as well. So it looks like a replacement transformer. We've got some modern looking PVC wire there, although it's got lacquer on it. Let's zoom in a bit, eh? So before we do that, just looking at the cabinet, at the sticker down there, we've got the tube chart written on the production there. We've got 014444, 01444, sorry. I had an extra 4 there. I think 4 4s was doing my head in. We've got HB on the stamp down there, HB. On the other side, we've got either BB or 33 written there on the cabinet. I'm not sure what that means, if that's just someone's initials or what. The serial number is not on the chassis. on the top anyway. Have a look at the bottom. Oh yeah, we've got a serial number on the bottom. And again, we've got that same number again, 01444. So that's the same as what's on the sticker. Now, these had the filter caps mounted in a can on the other side, you can see down there. So we'll have to remove the chassis to inspect that. I might do that before powering it up, because there's potential there for bad things to happen. So we've got two screen grid resistors floating above the output sockets there. One's looks like a 1 watt carbon film over here, and one's looks like a 3 watt metal oxide. We've got, because they've removed the selenium rectifier down there, we've got a silicon rectifier in its place, which is going to the modified bias circuit. Someone's been playing with the bias values there. That's fine. 160 volt 22 microfarad Rubicons there, which look pretty old. They look like probably 80s at the latest. And you've got a metal oxide there as well. So we've got no grid stoppers. We've got a mishmash of caps. We've got some brown Pactrons. Pactron, I think, is the company. Oh, were they the blue ones? I've got a container that had a kit of those brown ones, but I think I threw it out and just kept the caps. So yeah, someone's re-film capped it, and again, you've got those generics that you find at all sorts of strange shops. You've got an MOD there. You've got a Nichicon over here. So a big mix of cap brands. Not that that's a bad thing, but it probably goes to show you all of this stuff was done at separate times, possibly. You got some what look like imitation Mallory's. They're the ones you just get from like Ivatco has them in stock. They're just unbranded generics. You've got an orange drop. Someone's replaced the carbon comp plate loads down there with some look like 1 watt metal carbon films. Got a replacement cap up there on the tone control, and that ceramic may be aftermarket as well, because it doesn't look like anything I've seen in a fender before, and the leads look like they've been bent back and forward a few times. So this one could do with some cleaning up. Just taking it all in, champions, just having a look around. Someone's got a shorting plug there in the trem. We could probably replace that with something a little bit more elegant than a 1/4 inch to RCA adapter with an RCA blanker. We could just make a little plug there, or give him a foot switch, because I've got a single foot switch over there which would fit the bill. Lots of tack soldering, yeah. Whoever owns these wins, yeah. Some nice amps, man. I love that little champ. That thing sounded gorgeous. I've got a half-built champ at home, which I've been meaning to... I built it years ago, and I built a new cab for it. I've been meaning to finish that off and do the last video on that friggin' how to build a champ cabinet series, which I keep starting these series and not finishing them because I'm an idiot. Too busy. Getting screamed at by people. Where's my amp? I need my amp! I'll just swing this around this way. A bit easier for me to see what's going on. Not for you guys, but you just get to look at the tweed side for a minute. So this is not a long tail pair. Just tracing the schematic in my head. Look like aftermarket truss screws. Stainless steel for the chassis. Alright, just put the nuts back on there so I don't lose them. The caps nuts. The screws look in decent condition. Alright, so the report with this one was previously serviced in late 2020. Check and service. Oh, hang on, no, that's the Ampeg. Rattling noises last service circa 2021. Sounds like you're talking about an old date when you say circa. Check and service. So the rattling noises are probably the 6v6s, because JJs are known to do that. It sucks a bit. That is the lightest cab, man. Super light. People say valve amps are heavy. Don't have to be. Alrighty, champions. So this is a bit annoying because it's got the wires passing through. So you sort of have to lift the doghouse and have a peek under. Try not to pull the wiring too hard. I'll build a 5G9 someday. I have a 6G3 next in the queue. Is that just for you? Oh, you have one for repair. I have to build a cab first. Board is populated, but I will rewire the B plus above the components rather than under the board. Okay. I bought 10 5E3 chassis for cheap because there was one hole drilled wrong, so thinking what tweed variations to build in them. What was drilled wrong there? You might be able to take advantage of it, you know, if it's not going to be a straight up clone. You can have a bit of fun with it. I guess learning what the transformers are is the first step. Yeah. You should be able to find some documentation on the Hammond stuff there, Chris. Oh, sounds like I have a Michelle. Alright, so we've got IC caps. They look alright. Hello.
Hi everybody.
Did you bring me more coffee?
No.
Damn you. Just about run out.
Oh,
It's like you're trying to kill me.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm saving it if I want an excuse not to go to something. I'll just eat the 3-week-old sushi roll and poo my pants. What are you fridging? Oh, is that the meat trays?
Yeah.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.
Have fun.
Will do. Go back. I don't know what time someplace pick them up.
Huh?
Go back at someplace pick them up.
What time's the raffle?
Starts at 5.
Might come over and compete.
You got the demo?
Come and get a ticket for the meat raffle. And if I win, I'll have to run away with it because they'll think it's cheating.
It doesn't get drawn to 7.
Ah, too hard. I'll still be working. Is it still raining?
No.
Hmm.
Looks like it's threatening though.
Threatening. It's got
Like this.
it's got a threatening aura.
Oh, got a rain.
I'm gonna rain. Love you dumbass. We've got the stupidest sense of humour, Michelle and I. And if we ever divorced for whatever reason, we'd be screwed because no one else would put up with our stupid sense of humour. She's like, the weather's threatening. The weather's going, I'm gonna rain! I'm gonna rain! Who else would find that funny? Alright, so they bothered putting on just 4 little caps under there, but they were probably a lot bigger back in the day. Not a huge fan of this setup, where they solder it to the lid, but hey, it works. So like I said, they're not bulging or anything at the moment, but we'll check for ripple, and again, we could probably preemptively replace them with something a bit nicer. Or just wait until there's an issue. These cloth wires look a bit furry, like maybe mildew on them. So that probably could do with a bit of a brush and clean. Should probably zoom in a bit, eh? Here we go. Keep forgetting I've got a zoom lens. So IC brand, but again, they're not the shitty super scraping the bottom of the barrel ones that Fender use in their amps, so they're actually reasonably reliable. They've got a bad name because of the shit ones that they supply Fender with. I don't know why they chose to do that. They must have made millions and millions of dollars off it, because why would you sully your reputation just to appease the bottom line of Fender? Seems a bit short-sighted to me. But they must have made enough money to make it worthwhile, and I'm not a massive capacitor manufacturer, so what the fuck do I know? It's been converted to a modern tweed by putting IC caps in there, yeah. The electrons don't care what's written on the outside of the cap. $9.19. Running out of time, champions. Still got 3 more amps to get through yet. Well, considering this one was being powered up just fine and it was just a bit rattly, we might fire it up and just have a quick listen. We know the stuff we want to do to it. We'll just fire it up on the bench. Fire it up! Put a bit of walnut under there. Wouldn't mind getting something for breakfast before I open shop, since I didn't really have dinner last night. We just sort of nibbled random shit. Popcorn and licorice and hummus and carrot. Sort of grazing more than anything else. Let's check the fuse. That's the other thing. If you're going to convert an amp to 240 volt, you should put a sticker over the fuse rating. So if it was 1 amp, if it was 2 amp at 120 volt or 110 or 117, whatever the fuck you guys are, and it was 2 amp fuse at that, you should be putting a 1 amp fuse in there. So I like to put a sticker over it, or at least next to it, so you don't take the writing off, but then it introduces confusion. So I do prefer to put the sticker on top of the original one, just to show that it's a 240 volts 1 amp fuse required, 250 volt 1 amp fuse required. Alright, so now I've got to fuck around with my microphone again, put it back down on the test speaker, which I'm going to upgrade, because I think I've punished this one a bit, because I was cranking an amp through it the other day. It was only a 50 watt amp, 75 watt speaker, and it sounded like it was going into horrible oscillation, the amp, but then I looked at it on the scope and there's nothing wrong. So I think the speaker is mechanically starting to fuck up, because I've driven it really hard. And it is a open back cabinet too, so I might make a closed back, or put one of my 2x12s under here, since they haven't sold yet. Might just claim one of them. There's my test speaker. Admiral Quality is talking about drift velocity. Yes, we did know that, or most people here would, I think. Signal. I learned about drift velocity in high school because I studied physics in high school. Blew my mind at first, but I thought, yeah, when you look at the calculations and how many electrons in a coulomb and all that shit and what that ends up in joules, and then relate joules back to amps and watts and whatever, it makes a lot more sense. Of course, that's different when you're talking about a valve, though, when they're flying through a vacuum. Or a electron gun in a cathode ray tube. Meters. Get me off the topic again. You're good at that. Let's pull this forwards a bit. And I'll go back to crutch cam mode. Meter the heater. Alright, heater there. Someone's disconnected the transformer hardware in this one too. Good to see. So being fixed biased, we'll check the bias supply voltage as well. Come on, champ. Keep doing it. Red one on the wrong connector. Some big blobs of solder on this one. I think it's definitely a different tech than looked at the other two. Actually, let's use the one with the short leads on the plate. Use this one to measure B+. Since the cathodes are going straight to ground beam fixed bias, we can just remove whatever drops across the primary, and that's our B+. I'll go to the heater there to make sure we've got the right supply voltage. Look at that, all lined up. The problem with the silicon is they keep trying to tie themselves in knots. tap into a ground there. That's AC, so that's the heater. That's the B+. We'll plug in our sprecher. Power on. Our mic sort of kinda in the right posi. Should hear a little pop. Should hear a little pop when we change to resistance mode. There it is. No. Bit of flux there. Something funny going on. Alright, so the meters are fucking each other up. Turn that one off, that one goes to 530 ohm. When it's high resistance, that one's 470 ohm. 480 ohm, sorry. It seems very high, so I think I am not measuring from the right spot. $430 and $380. Is this a stock transformer? That seems very high. Doesn't look stock, no. So I've got a feeling that's not the right transformer. And the wiring looks different. And it's black and spray painted and looks like it's been pulled from a radio. Huh. So I don't think that's the right transformer for this amp. You know, we're talking about quantum tunneling. Jesus, turn it back a bit, boys. We're just dealing with valve amps here. Alright, so we'll say 400 ohms. Average the difference. Fire it up. I've got a 5U4, so it's going to take a bit longer to warm up. It's coming up slowly. Going in the mic input at the moment. Starting to see some conduction there. Why is my B+ not measuring? There we go, bit of flux on the lead. 280. We're going to see a massive voltage drop there because the DCR is so high. Got a bit of leakage there. Sorry. Tone's very scratchy. Probably come up good with a clean though. Let's just test the trem. Okay, so that's one of the ones where you need to remove the plug for it to work. So I would like to see that trem be able to go a bit slower. Got a bit of an imbalance here on the output, but probably not the end of the world. What are we sitting at on the mains? We should be around 235, 240. We're at 6.2 on the heaters. 247. All right, so this wire, that plug's wired wrong. It's wired correctly, but the color codes are off. So black's supposed to be active. It's 247 AC. I'll knock that back a bit. Sometimes we get it that high, but 245. 245 is a good use case scenario, so that way you can set it up for if the main's a little bit high in your area. 243 is about right. What are we actually reading on the mains? 242. And we're drawing 66 watts from the wall. So that's all looking pretty good. About what you'd expect. We can calculate that. Just give me a second. Okay, worst case, so 10.6 divided by 400. Well, that was 420 or something, I think. But yeah, we'll go 430, I think it was. Multiplied by 387. Divided by 12. Better put my parentheses in. Insert. Do like these calculators. They're pretty old school, but around about 79.5%. So with these calculators, you can not, it's not really programming, but you go 10.6 volts drop. I'll just go back to the start here. 10.6 volts drop divided by 430 ohms multiplied by 387 on the plate. So that's the plate for the B plus minus the drop, and then divide that by 12 watts, which is the 6v6 maximum. Oh, some are 14, some I'll just go 12. If you just want to find the wattage, just delete. And now you're 9 point, hang on. What did I do there? Yeah, 9.54 watts. So that's what we've actually got, 9.54. And you divide that by 12. And we're sitting at about 80%. Yeah, bias trim can be good. Not a huge fan of the opto trim. It can be a bit choppy. It can work really well depending on what settings you're after, what sound you're after, what settings you got. The big, greasy, slow bias trim can be good, but the other thing it can do is sort of, because you're basically sending the valve in and out of cutoff, if you're pushing into decent overdrive, it can sort of have a little bit of a weird fuzz modulation. It's hard to explain, but it can sound a bit unnatural if you're driving the amp pretty hard, but when you're only just pushing in overdrive, the bias trim's really nice. And sometimes Because I drive long tail pair amps pretty hard, like the deluxe reverb and that, I usually drive them in well into overdrive. I think the optical trem does work better in that situation, but the bias wiggle trem, they call it, seems to perform really nicely because you can slow it right down and it's a really nice, even, slow, greasy trem. And yeah, the harmonic trem, as Ted. G'day Ted, by the way. I don't know if I've acknowledged you yet. When did you pop in? The harmonic trem is way cooler, but you could probably see yourself sort of getting a bit tired of the effect sometimes. But harmonic trem is beautiful. What would be great is if you could switch between harmonic and normal trem. It's probably amps that do that. I don't even know. If there is, let me know. G'day, good night everyone. See you, Andy. Take it easy, mate. Time to finish dinner. So I'll just check these 6v6s for microphonics. Doesn't sound too bad. There's a bit there, but it's pretty low level. I can see that being annoying on certain notes though. Pretty low noise. I just stumbled in. G'day, Ted. Welcome, mate. You can with a Strymon Flint. Yeah, but that's just a simulation. I mean, is there an amp out there that does it? Pretty sure there is. I just can't remember what. That's a very un-Aussie sounding tribute to Ozzy Osbourne. That's Changes. But played in if he wrote it in the 50s. Yeah, so again, similar to the others, we know what we've got to do, and it's not a hell of a lot. And it should end up being a beautiful, fantastic amp. I'm very jealous of this owner. But having said that, I probably wouldn't be happy with one of these myself because I haven't built it, and I'd sell it because I know the market value is higher than I'd get for one of mine, and I'd just build my own anyway. Because I love building things. Come on, you bugger. Come off. Every time I get something nice, I own it for a bit, and then I think, you know what? Player X would be playing gigs with this every weekend, and they are way better the guitarist than me, and they'd do it justice, and he should own it. So then I sell it to a really good guitarist. So it creates art for people that they can enjoy, and I buy a piece of shit, and I play that for a while, or build a piece of shit. Not a piece of shit, but build something, and something that's not like high market value because it's not an original thing. And then I sort of, either someone makes an offer on that, or I find something nice, and then I buy something, and the cycle begins again. I do like the vintage stuff, but I also am realistic about why it sounds the way it does, and there's no reason you can't make stuff that sounds that way that's brand new. It's just about knowing what you're doing. The biggest gamble is speakers, man. The main reason a lot of amps sound as beautiful as they do is because of the speakers. And if you're buying old speakers, it's always a gamble because they are these big paper bloody things held together with glue that are sensitive to humidity and shock and movement. So I recommend trying to find something in modern production if you're building amps, something in modern production that sounds as close as possible to the old amps. And there are some little tricks you can do, like massaging the surround to make it sound like it's broken in as soon as you install it. So we're running out of time, champions, before I've got to open the shop and get something to eat. So we'll just have a quick look at this Ampeg. We've got a Jet. Ooh, Jet. Ampeg. So I don't know much about these at all. As I say, not many of them come around. Or none, I should say. Pretty simple. Tremolo, tone, volume. So the report in this one was noises, horrible noises, previously serviced approximately late 2020, check and service, etc, etc. So what have we got? We've got Sylvanias everywhere. Let's pop them back off, have a quick look. If speakers need to be broken in, why don't manufacturers break them in? I think they do. I think there's some that do offer that kind of thing, but I don't know. That's a good question. There's no doubt that they do change. Possibly having them broken in before shipping may make them more delicate to ship if the surround's a bit softer. That's an earlier one with the sparkle. Yeah, it's got a sparkle in the Tilex. Sparkle, sparkle. More tubes and knobs, a bad sign. Nah. It's got octals on the input, which is a bit of a worry to find ones that aren't microphonic these days. No, it doesn't have a compactor on. I'd decline it if it did, unless there was no problem with it. Well, then they don't need to be broken in. What? They sound different after being broken in, for sure. The speakers do change their characteristics over time. There's no denying that. We used to have a schematic on the inside. At least we've got the model. Do we? No? Oh, all the writing's gone. So, 6SL7, 6SL7, 6SL7 phase inverter. Give you a tube chart and everything. Look at that. Back when people didn't guard all their bullshit secrets, like all the fucking boutique dickheads, just to hide the fact that everything's ripped off everything else that they make. 5x3, you've got 6 SL7s all around for the tremolo and preamp and phase inverter, and 6 V6s on the output, and they even give you voltages there, which is handy. That's really cool. That was back when they were proud of their circuits, you know. They weren't trying to hide the fact that they stole it off someone else. So they didn't keep everything under wraps. So we've got down in there, interesting, Fanny boy. Cop that high noise ISO. There's little bits of timber there supporting the transformers. See that? They've cut them just so they nudge against the transformers, support them. And there's another one down there for the PT. Oh, they've actually cut that a bit short. They had to put a bit in, or maybe that was a replacement transformer. Should be model J12B. Okay, cool. Yeah, because even the customer didn't know exactly what it was. It does say 12 there on the stamp. Oh, always go the wrong way. So I don't know what that means. Tube amp Doctor 6V6s. That's a red flag because they are shithouse. And they will, if they haven't already failed, which is the source of the horrible noises we're talking about, then they will fail, probably. My experience. Alright, so let's see what we can glean from the back panel, even though it is ripped up. We can see that we need to do something about this foil, because that's really wispy and going to present issues in the future. Alright, so we've got cathode biasing on the output. We've got bias wiggle trem. We've got a long tail, or sort of a long tail, not really, but a sort of long tail pair phase inverter. We've got local negative feedback. Is that a paraphase? No, it's not. I have to see the rest of the schematic. So, eyelet board, we've got Astrons all around. They look like the real deal too, not the reproductions, obviously. This is why everyone loves them, because they make them look like that. Got the really weird looking bypass caps down there. They're it's almost like, looks like a DIY job in terms of the sleeving over it. 250 ohm cathode. Sorry, biasing resistor there. So we've probably got a can cap mounted on the other side, I'd say. Hopefully not, because they're a pain in the ass to replace. I can't see anything poking up. Where are they? Oh, here we go. There's staring me in the face. I'm seeing all the valves, and my brain was not registering that that's a cap. So multi-section, 1, 2, 3, 4 section cap. What's the rating on them? I recently got a had no real choice on this one. I had to get a CE Distribution Mallory ripoff, CE Manufacturing, well, from CE Distribution. 2020 for a WEM copycat, which I've got to do a video on. At least this is 85 degree rated, and the copycat's not going to get that hot, being that it's not a valve amp. It's only got like 2 dual triodes. So hopefully that's not shit. I've had a few, and other customers have brought amps that they've replaced them in, or someone else has replaced, and they've failed, and like the manufacture date was like 22 or 23 or something, and they fail within 6 months. So I'm not a big fan of them because they're so unreliable. I've seen a few that are okay, but so many of them just come in with open sections. I'm not sure if it's the way they terminate it on the foil, it just goes open circuit or what, but point being they fail quite often. I know plenty of techs that use them quite often, and they have a pretty good success rate, but none of them are 100%. All of them have had stuff come back. So, and that's a sample size that's pretty large. If you've got one person that's like, I've always used CE caps and they've never presented a problem. You're talking shit, not this idiot talking shit again. And you're like, how many have you used? And they'll never say, oh, I've used one ever. Okay. So, yeah, you got to look at the sample size for that kind of thing, because we do a lot of amps, and all my mates do a shit ton of amps as well. And what matters is the success rate. So let's fire this thing up gingerly. We'll attach the life support system again. Just make sure those tube amp doctors aren't running away like they are wont to do. We've got 7 minutes, champions. 7 minutes. Now I'll do plate dissipation directly, because I want to know if one valve's running away more than the other. Pin, it's really hard to see. Pin 1, 2, 3. Alright, that's the recto. I can't see shit. There we are. Pin. Pin 8. And that's a B plus there. Right. VT22 has 2 multi-can caps. When they go out, it needs a bypass of the multi-can caps. No one makes them decent. Yeah, true. They all fail. The obvious explanation why speakers don't get broken in is cost. Yeah, well, that's true, yeah. It takes a lot of time breaking the speaker, and it takes space and dedicated space for the process, plus a large-scale signal generator rig. You'd probably audiophiles hear their feelings. That's true. That's a good way of putting it. They hear their feelings. Yeah, I have found, yeah, audiophiles tend to be very emotional people too, eh? Like you can't have a reasoned argument with them, and their emotion does pour out in their... Basically, they probably need therapy rather than a stereo system. Anyway. Get a little pop. And a little pop. Alright, 178 ohms on one side, 157 on the other. Just pull this out a bit so you can see the meters. Pull out the focus a touch. We'll set the tremolo halfway because I want to quickly know what it does. Alright, so we'll go like 165 ohm, right? Just average it out just for shits and giggles at the moment. Another meter. Put the heater voltage down here. Looks like this might have balanced heaters. I'll have to have a closer look, but I might go under the output valve. It's a bit more convenient. Pin 2, pin 7. Go on the one closer. They also fear their healings. Oh, Chris, you've been very very philosophical there. Alrighty. Did I tap onto the wrong wire? No, I didn't. A little bit crowded, champions. Where can I clip onto? I'll clip onto the lead itself, the probe. One thing I'm not a fan of with these pomonas is that the hook doesn't really poke out far. I think I just ruined it. Fuck's sake. Fiddly shit. Gotcha. Little bastard. Alright, so why is that reading something? What? Okay, why is that reading nothing? Is that probe I just put on? Can't see anything. And you put a shiny probe on something and I can't even speak. You put a shiny light on something and then it reflects off the unit. Okay, why is that reading why is that reading open circuit? Hello? I was reading a measurement on that before, now there's none there. What's going on? .8 meg. I literally had a measurement on that before, did I not? Okay, that's not connected to anything. So why am I getting 0 point? Is my meter fucked? Am I? No, I'm an idiot. Right. Okay. Yeah. Gotcha. I'm measuring the wrong fucking shit on the wrong meter. Never mind. Moving on. This is why I need to go because my brain's stopping to work. Can't even speak. Alright, that's more like it. So that's reading B+, you idiot. I thought I was measuring the resistance plate. I'm measuring plate resistance. Okay, now I'm measuring nothing again. What the fuck? Yeah. This amp was not built for connecting 1,000,000 meters for a YouTube video. It was meant for one-off measurements with probes. Too many leads indeed. Right, where were we? Signal. Inputs. They are going to the same input, right? Alright, power. Bring her up slow again just in case it's not 240 volt. Alright, we've got some dim bulb action there. B plus coming up. Some movement on the output valves there. We've got signal. And we've got trem. Oh. Just turn that off for a sec, we know it's working. Well, that's promising. That means it's more than likely a valve socket issue than the valve itself. These aren't known for being microphonic and sensitive to noise because there's no shield over them. That kind of deal. But the if you give a bit of shielding to the back of the panel, down past the chassis itself. See, I'm just holding onto the chassis there. As soon as I let go, everything in there is picking me up. If we pop this back on, which we can't do, because I've got leads coming out, but I've got this bit of aluminium here I use for this. It's very quiet. You still got a bit when you touch the valves or go near them, but if we were to extend that shielding down, which we can't because there's a window, you could, I guess you could put a bit of mesh over them or something. But the most sensitive spot is right between your nutsack and your asshole. Now, the most sensitive spot is this area here, and I'm wondering if that's because the shunt isn't working on the input jack. No, it's just the way it's done. Yeah, much noisier with it released. But the horrible noise he's describing is probably just those valve sockets. But even moving it around has cleaned them up a bit, so that's likely to be fine. We'll keep a close eye on those 6v6s because I've had big problems with them from Tube Amp Doctor. A lot of angry customers blaming me for Tube Amp Doctor's shortcomings when I did all the due diligence that was practical and possible in a revalve and service. So anyway, I think this is This is another beautiful example of an amp. Oh yeah, there we go. Model J12. Oh, fucking hell, it's right there. Serial 111271. Roosevelt Avenue, Woodside, New York. Model number J-12. So another beautiful amp. I'd love to do a playing sample of this, but I think I'm going to do a video on it, so just hold off until I do that. Let me do a bit of research on the Ampeg series, because like I say, I've never seen them before, really. And keep an eye out for that video. I'll try and get some videos done soon as. Anyway, I think I'm going to have to piss off, because we're 7 minutes past when I should have opened the shop. Is there anyone out the front? No? Okay, I think we've gotten away with it. Thanks for joining us again. I know it was fitting quite a bit into one video, but I've still got a Hughes & Kettner Tube Meister 36 I've got to get into. I've got a Hughes & Kettner Pure Tone to do as well. Another amp just came in. What's that one? I can't even remember. It's a Yamaha G100B solid state twin copy thing. PV bass head. That Laney thing's good to go now that we had the smash valve in. We've got the Tech 21 pedal. And repairs haven't even reopened yet. This is just people trying to jam them up me before I officially open the queue again in 1st of August. So it's hectic times, champions. Hectic times. I don't think it's going to change anytime soon either. So thanks for coming, everyone. See you tomorrow morning if I get up early enough for Lyle's live stream. It does start at 4 AM here, but I'll try and be up. I usually get up about an hour after he started, about 5. So I'll bloody see you there. And catch me in the comments, yo. Failing that, I'll hopefully do some footage today in the afternoon. And get some bloody edited videos back up, yeah. I've got to get my head around DaVinci. That's a big one. But yeah, with Lyle's help, I'll figure DaVinci out, and it's way better than anything released by Adobe. Fuck Adobe, they're cockheads. So yeah, get a dog up here, have a beer for me, and next weekend I'll have one for you, because I'll be off Dry July. Oh, if anyone wanted to chuck a few bucks in the hat, I don't want big donations, but a couple of bucks would be nice. I'll just give you the link here. Copy that. There you go there. And I've got to catch up with everyone who gave me a donation and shout out thanks. But there's the link if you want to drop a couple of hats in the bucket. Drop a couple of bucks in the hat. And yeah, that'd be much appreciated. We've already hit the target, so that's fantastic. I didn't even have to bother you with Dry July non-alcoholic beverage reviews this year. You just donated anyway, so that's been awesome. Thank you very much for everyone that donated. Stay cool. Be good to your mother, or be very good to someone else's mother.